Here he is. Thanks for joining us, Brad.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Francisco. Very good to see you both. Hi,
What's
Joe.
up,
How you doing,
man?
buddy?
I'm great. How about yourself? What a year. We had a tremendous year of NHRA drag racing, and I'm excited to get your personal review, your personal wrap. It was the first season of the Mission Foods drag racing series, but it didn't feel like a first season. They fit pretty well with the sport of NHRA drag racing.
Yeah, agree, Joe. They are just such phenomenal partners, and on the heels of the first year of the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty program that we did last year in 2023. Then they came in, and that went so well that they came in and they said, we'd like to look at being a series partner, and they came in and they just exceeded all expectations. They are the ideal partner in that they're not only engaged on site, but prior to each race, they do local promotions with us and C-stores and things like that, with standees, with some of the drivers and stuff like that. So they've been just phenomenal partners. And in addition to that, Mission Foods, we were able to retain Camping World as well. They're phenomenal partners too. We're always into data and why people should be working with us and stuff. And so I'll throw out a lot of research numbers, that isn't a lot of times all that sexy, let's say. But it makes sense. Someone like a Camping World that, NHRA ranks #1 in hunting, fishing, and camping. So why not be a partner of ours? And with all the camping that goes on at our races and stuff like that. And then all the toter homes and RVs and stuff that are at track with all the teams, So very thankful to have great partners like Mission Foods and Camping World, along with all of our other partners that we have here as well.
Before we dig a little deeper, this is the perfect place for data, for marketing speak. EPARTRADE is watched around the world, and very often this industry week breaks news, makes news. And so I would fully expect there are some executives out there logging on specifically to see this. Why don't you take a moment to explain what you do for the National Hot Rod Association? There were a lot of amazing initiatives this year. We'll get into them. We'll talk about the on-track action. But for people that are exactly who I described, looking to get involved in the sport, trying to pick which series in which to get the best bang for their buck in terms of marketing dollar, what do you do for NHRA, and how does it work?
Yeah, so what I do for the NHRA is that my title is Vice President of Sales and Chief Development Officer. And what that means really is work with just about anybody with all teams, all tracks, and all of our sponsors within the NHRA. What we do is we help teams craft stories. Okay, they may be looking at a particular partner, and so we'll do the research and help them craft stories to help them land that sponsorship. Then on tracks, what we'll do is we do the same with tracks as well, is that they may be looking for a title partner and things like that. So what we'll do is me and my team, we will pull the research, help craft the stories, and why someone should be a partner and why we make sense, why they may be a higher propensity of our fans to be buying a product that they may that a sponsor may want to be working with a team on, let's just say. We did a little analysis, an in-depth analysis on spark plugs, let's say. And what that showed is not only that we index the highest of all sports of buying and installing spark plugs, but also index the highest in every single age break as well. A lot of times people think that, hey, it's hard to reach the 18 to 34-year-old market, 18 to 25-year-old market. But if you want to sell spark plugs, we are the #1 person. The NHRA is the #1 league to work with in the 18 to 25-year-old market for installing spark plugs. So things like that, we like to create a lot of stories and help people find sponsors. And then what we do is we also identify areas that we have open categories, okay, within our sport. And so we identify those and do what most people do, go out and try to find sponsorships. In addition to that, we find ways to ideally put money back into the team's hands. And what I mean by that is things like the call out. We created the call out, and Pep Boys have been our partner there. And then now we have Gittrex as our partner on Pro Stock and Pro Stock Motorcycle. So that puts another about $400,000 in the team's hands. And then on top of that, the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty program that we created last year. That program puts about $550,000 into teams' hands as well. So we try to create programs that not only sponsor the NHRA, but also ultimately put money back into the team's hands in that area. Does that
Yeah.
make sense to you?
Well, isn't that the constant battle of all motorsports? That it's expensive to get there. It's expensive to be there, whether it be over the road with your teams, flying people in, driving over the road, and the parts and pieces are very expensive. And so it's the job of the series to help the teams to find money for sponsorship, but also to provide it in terms of prize money. It seems like NHRA has taken a more active role in recent years to try to close the gap between expenses and the money that comes in. Is that something you've focused on specifically?
Absolutely, because it's always, I think in every form of motorsport, there's always that that thing that people aren't making money, let's say, at the sport. So what we try to do is we try to put more money in the team's pockets, and we've done a pretty good job at that over the last year. Since 2019, I believe we're up about $3 million in what we're putting in teams' pockets right now. So up over 2019 levels. So that's good. And then ultimately, we always have to not only retain sponsors. We have to not only find new sponsors, but also retain sponsors. We have to continually justify why we are the best value for a potential partner and sponsor there. So a lot of times we say, hey, we don't need to go in. A lot of people look for the big deals. Okay, we say, hey, let's get started. We can get started at any level. It could be a display partner or get what we frequently call a base hit. Okay, I know it's a baseball analogy, but we frequently say, hey, let's just get a base hit, and then we show them, prove it out, and then once we prove it out and what we do and how we do it, and we end up normally able to work with and grow those people, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of obviously thought process, research, things that go into it. But number one, we try to get people in the sport. Once we get people in the sport, I always say find a way to yes. And then once we find a way to yes, we end up frequently being able to grow those people. But most importantly is to get them in the sport so they could actually be introduced to NHRA drag racing.
Well, just yesterday on EPARTRADE Industry Week, Tony Stewart, who has done such a great job all year long, said that it's the kind of sport that you can enjoy it on television, and television viewing is amazing when you can't be there, but it is amplified by having been there and knowing what the experience is on the other side of the camera lens. I would imagine that's true for a sponsor or a marketing partner as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been in the business for a long time, 30 plus years, in touching and being involved with the performance automotive business. I have friends that come out that haven't been out to a race in 10 or 12 or 15 years that are automotive enthusiasts, and they come out and they're like, I had no idea this was going on now. And it is just, I've been in it 30 years, like I said, and I still think it's just crazy what we do. 12,000 horsepower cars going out there, and just the sounds and the smells and the feels, I mean, people don't realize that, you can say it a million times, but when you get in those grandstands, you can see the entire race, number one, but then number two, you feel it in your chest. You really do. And it's just something that you have to come out and experience. And I've heard Tony say that before, where hey, congratulations, by the way, that rookie of the year there. Congratulations, Tony. But I've heard him say that, hey, it's great on TV, but it's even much more, it's crazier in person. And what we do with the teams just have that, get inside the locker room. I mean, we've said it a million times, but every ticket's a pit pass. And when we say that, I don't think people really understand what that means either. It's like you can walk directly into the pits, and actually when those cars are coming out of their pits, you can touch the cars before they're ready to go down the track at 330 miles an hour. Or if you're Austin Prock, 341 miles an hour, which is pretty crazy. And that's when
yes,
we saw that
well,
happen.
we will get to that, and I think it's a nice transition from some of the sponsorship and marketing speak into some racing action. This year just concluded at the In-N-Out Burger Finals in Pomona. Antron Brown, who we spoke with early in the week, won his 4th championship, but it was the first as a team owner. And I think that speaks volumes that drivers can elevate themselves into team ownership positions and still continue to be successful. Antron won a championship. We had the emergence of a young I think he's a superstar across motorsports. Austin Prock with that incredible season, surpassing John Force in #1 qualifiers, running 341 miles an hour. That's like a shocking number to anyone in motorsports. And then, Gage Herrera on Pro Stock Motorcycle and Greg Anderson, who are now a 6-time champ. You can't spell GOAT without GA, one of the greatest of all time, certainly. Just speak a
No
little
doubt.
bit around the diversity of the champions in 2024 and the season that you think we just experienced.
Yeah, I mean, the diversity, we are very, very proud of our diversity, obviously, with Antron Brown winning, and congratulations to him in his second year as a team owner. And, hey, and then you look back at Ron Capps, last year as a first year of a team owner, ended up winning the championship, right? So congratulations to Antron. Couldn't happen to a better guy. He's just a super person, super ambassador to any sponsor. And Austin Prock, that guy, he's a character. He's a lot of fun to watch, man. He has great energy. You've interviewed him multiple times. He's just a great, not only interview, but a good person. He's passionate. He's young. He's on fire. He's fiery, he's just a great person. And then his ETs that he was throwing down all year long, and then comes out with that 341, just amazing. I know Tasco is he wanted to get it. He was working real hard at it. And I know he did that at another track earlier in the year. But man, I'll tell you, what a great season. And then you have Greg Anderson come in, and everything just comes down to, he's just a super, super person. We had a lot of good laughs over the last couple of races with Greg and his partner, hendrickscars.com and Summit and stuff. So had a lot of fun there. Hey, Gage, Gage and the battle that he and Matt Smith had, that was just there's this article on NHRA.com just I think today it came out that talked a little bit about the parity in motorcycles and stuff. And you don't really think about the parity because Gage has been winning a lot over the last couple of years. But if you look at it, it's a pretty interesting article that is very, very, very tight, within thousandths of a second, 13 thousandths of a second either way, between those two guys a lot of times, or it's 7 thousandths in some areas. And we talk thousandths of seconds, which is crazy, so that's very, very, very close. But Antron and Matco, that's great, and Toyota, things of that nature, and Austin, announcing that he's going to have a 3-year partnership with Cornwell Tools. How about that? So we'll see him in the driver's seat for the next 3 years, which is always a lot of great news when that happens with sponsors and things like that too for tip drivers. So a lot of great things in 2024. We made a couple announcements recently, which is great as well. I can go, there's just so much to talk about, as I could talk forever.
Oh, of course. Well, so, I just want to note for everybody out there in our motorsports crew, and we have the greatest of respect for all forms of racing, but just take a second to think and consider 341 miles per hour to 1,000 feet, the kind of acceleration that we're talking about. And, I don't want to compare it to any other motorsport, but just think about what that means in terms of like numbers that it's shocking, and it's really defies the laws of physics. And so to see it is something amazing. Now, Brad, this past season, the National Hot Rod Association embarked on something totally new to motorsports, like in drag racing in particular, with the addition of Play NHRA. And this is to go along with legalized gambling and daily fantasy around the country in the United States of America. You and your team fully embraced it and dove in, and tell us a little bit about that program, because it is something totally new in drag racing. Other sports, you follow the NFL, odds and wagering are as much of a part of it as X's and O's. That hasn't always been the case legally in the states where we race. Now, in many of them, it is. And so gambling, in many ways, has gone from the corner of the grandstand to the person who is at home on their smartphone. Talk a little bit about Play NHRA, and was it successful in its rollout?
Yeah, that was a a lot of times people think things happen real fast, and things are very, things take a long time to get done. So I started that project just over 5 years ago, and and it got delayed during COVID. Okay. But started that project just over 5 years ago. And really what we want to do with that is really formalize what's been going on in our sport since the inception of our sport. Like you said, up in the corner of the grandstands or switching money in the grandstands and things like that. So it's been going on since the inception of our sport. And then over the last 15, 20 years, it's been going on in Las Vegas. So, different people have put out lines in Las Vegas and stuff. And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to get our arms around it and really formalize it. So then we actually protected the sport. We want to protect the sport and grow the sport. And so number one, we need to protect the sport. And so we had to come out with certain rules. All the teams needed to go through this education component that talked about what they can and can't do within the marketplace and things like that. And then from there, we launched legal betting. Okay. So working with the company called Alt Sports Data that is actually ingesting all the data and putting out the odds. They're working with different books like DraftKings and FanDuel and Prize Picks and Underdog and things like that. Bet365 and Caesars and things of that nature. So there's a lot of people that are involved with it right now. How it's going, we've only been doing it for 4 or 5 months now, and I think we're off to a great start. I know some of the numbers are, I know there's been an excess of 20,000 bets put on the NHRA. I know that, different things of that nature. So there is engagement there. I do know that the NHRA fan base has a much higher propensity of betting on anything. Okay. So they're not like number 3 in terms of all sports fans. Okay. In terms of betting on any sport. Okay. NHRA fans are number 1. This is all research again. NHRA fans are number 1 on betting on motorsport. So they have the highest propensity to bet on any motorsport. Okay, of any motorsport fan. So those types of things are just numbers that we use. And I always say it's research. What it does, research does, is it kind of gives you a guiding point, let's say, and it gives you kind of somewhere to go, and then you craft stories around that. But the Play NHRA initiative, I'm very bullish on it. Why is that? It's a huge industry. I've had people that were 22, 23, 24 come up to me and say, you know what? I didn't even recognize you guys as a sport if you didn't have betting. They recognize us as a sport because we have legal betting now. It's pretty ironic. Okay, that hey, we couldn't bet on you, so you're not a real sport. So that's interesting as well. But the Play NHRA initiative has been really well. It's just going to continue to grow. It is in the education phase right now. We've been talking about it for 4 or 5 months, but we still have to educate and talk to people and say, hey, we have, oh, you do? I can't tell you how many times, we've been talking about it. It's just like anything in life. You got to tell them once, you got to tell them twice, you got to tell them 3 times. And then, oh, okay, now I understand it. Okay, it's just like marketing. So sometimes I make it too simplistic, but I really think it's just to get back to the core. It's a lot of things like, we rebranded In-N-Out Pomona to In-N-Out Pomona Dragstrip, our Dragstrip in Pomona. It used to be called Raceway. Okay, and I came in, I looked at it, and I said, why are we calling this a raceway? It's, when's the last time we said we're going to a raceway? We say we're going to a drag strip. So, and they only have a drag strip out there. They don't have any ovals, road courses, anything else. So talk to In-N-Out, talked internally here about why we would do something like that. And everybody agreed. And hey, let's rebrand it In-N-Out Pomona Dragstrip. In-N-Out's the sponsor, Pomona's the place, Dragstrip is where we are. Okay. It's just basic, So
how's that going, by the way? How's the In-N-Out relationship going? We just had our finals there. Looked to me like a packed house. We made the news for some unfortunate reasons. Talked a little bit about that. Fortunately, everyone that was in that plane was able to get away with their lives. But the relationship with In-N-Out, it's so cultural. Are you seeing the numbers move because of that relationship?
Every year since the start of that partnership, we have grown attendance at that track and those events, which is great. And that's a testament to the great partners that Lindsay and her whole team, Lindsay, Denny, and the entire In-N-Out staff. I can't say enough positive things about In-N-Out. Those guys are the ideal partner. I was walking through the event, our Winter Nationals, and I saw them They're in their In-N-Out uniforms. Okay, we have 8 In-N-Out burger trucks there. That track is the only place that you can get an In-N-Out burger at a venue outside of an In-N-Out store. Okay, you can't get an In-N-Out burger at any other venue, only at Pomona In-N-Out Burger, Pomona Dragstrip. So you go to that Dragstrip, you can get an In-N-Out burger there. But I bring it back to the way that you're dressed in the In-N-Out burgers. Okay, they're all to the T's. Okay, they're always really dressed really nicely in their work outfit, and then they're walking around and they're actually cleaning up our track, and not the track itself, around the pits and things like that. They're just picking up stuff outside of their whole food trucks and stuff. And I looked up the COO, and I looked at him and I said, "Wow, I'm so impressed by your people." And he said, "Yeah, well, we have a motto at In-N-Out besides, quality you could taste, cleanliness you could see. And that motto basically is, if you can lean, you can clean." And they take that to heart, and they were literally cleaning up our picking up trash and things like that. So they're just first class partners across the board. Just love those guys. And we do, we show them that, we tell them that, but we also prove it out that we actually, we actually do a lot of extra special things because of that. We love to work with partners like that.
Very exciting. Very exciting. Okay, so let's talk 2025 and beyond. We still have a few minutes. Erica Enders coming up next. I do hear that Erica Enders is in the staging lanes trying to make a pro modified test run. So we might keep you until we get Erica. So just be ready. I don't know how we're going to handle that. Hopefully she gets her run in and we can talk to her right afterwards. It will be interesting. Everybody is behind the scenes monitoring, however. But 2025 and beyond, we got some big things coming up. There's construction going on at Indianapolis Raceway Park. There's a lot of elements going on. So just take it from there. What excites you about the future for NHRA?
Well, kicking off at Gainesville excites me. This is that people say this is the off season, but it's not the off season for us in our sales and development area. It is the actual, we're pedal the metal right now. And we have a lot of great things going on, but that Lucas Oil in Indianapolis Raceway Park there, we're going to have our tower done for our race there, and we're going to have our tower done, a brand new tower there, state-of-the-art tower, suites, race control, media. The top of that tower will have a covered area that'll hold about 500 people up there, things of that nature. We're making a absolute ton of improvements out there, really bringing that up to just A+ quality. SMI tracks set the bar. Those guys are just really phenomenal, not only at their tracks and what they do there, but just how they serve people and things like that. Along with talk about serving people, Bill Bader and stuff at his track out there. Always about the customer out there. But we have great track partners. But Lucas Oil IRP, that's going to be a just absolute phenomenal when that gets done. We have long-term plans there over the next 3 years as well that will be moving some parking and moving some teams and stuff like that to make it easier on the ingress and egress there as well. On top of that, in 2025, we'll end up, we have Cornwell Tools coming on at the U.S. Nationals. Okay, so that's a multi-year partnership as well. So U.S. Nationals, as we know, is one of our preeminent races, the largest race we throw all year in terms of number of races going there, racers going there, and race teams going there. 800, 900 teams consistently out there at every U.S. Nationals. We have other partnerships. VP Racing Fuel came on board as they're coming on board as our official racing fuel. So we'll be talking a little bit more about that at PRI as well coming up here. So that's good. We'll be announcing some new initiatives next week, actually, new initiatives on what we're doing in terms of the 75th and things like that, what we're doing, because we're celebrating our 75th anniversary in 2026, but we'll start celebrating it in 2025 with some surprise gifts and things like that. That will be announced next week, but I just gave you a little teaser there. So we have a lot of cool things that we're going to be doing there. So a lot of great things. I know Erica's coming up next. Erica.
Well, we actually have a video also for you, Brad. So that's perfect timing. And we know that Erica is actually in a car. So we're going to first run the NHRA video, which you send us, and then we'll keep running, Brad. We'll carry on. So let's run the video.
Yeah, hang in there, Brad. I got to talk to you about the television deal.
Ground shaking, Heart-stopping. The sport where every engine blast grabs the attention of a new generation of fan, 3 seconds at a time. Where everyone is welcome, because in this game, the only thing that matters is getting to the finish line fast. This is the NHRA. Drag racing stands as the ultimate test of one of the key benchmarks of automotive performances since 1951, brute force. And on any given weekend, NHRA enthusiasts line up along the starting lines and fences of hundreds of tracks throughout the U.S. to be a part of something they love. With approximately 30
Great video.
Yeah, speed
Yeah.
for all, man. That's what we stand for. There's no doubt.
It's not just
there's
a slogan. I like that.
Yeah, it's not just a slogan. There's no doubt about that. You know, we encourage everybody to come out. We want to get people off the streets and race in a safe environment on the track. And that's what the NHRA was founded on in 1951. And that's what we still stand for. I know there's a lot of drifting and I shouldn't say drifting, circles going on and tracks and stuff like that. We want to get them off the street and race on a safe environment. So yeah, really cool stuff we're doing here. And Joe, you asked a little bit about TV.
Well, so listen, let me jump in because I really very much want to hear about the TV. But the word that I'm getting, and maybe Francisque and Judy know this or don't, is that Erica is ready to come on, and we have very limited time with her because she's getting ready to pull in the water box for a pro modified run testing. And so I don't know if we can make that happen. Maybe Brad, you can hang around till then. She has to go momentarily. Is that possible? Francisque, I'm floating it to you guys, but that's the word I'm getting.
Excellent. So we'll stay with us, Brad, and we'll carry on. Yes, we're going to bring back Brad with us, and I think I might still see Erica here, so we're going to make
I got
sure.
Brad. I see him.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Brad, for hanging out.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, true champ there, Erica, man. Not only, I mean, just one of the greatest drivers all time. There's no doubt about it. You know, I mean, she is just so good on the tree and just she's just phenomenal. And as you see, her personality just is just a great person there. And you know, it's as a true champion, she finishes fourth, which many people would be happy finishing fourth. She's upset. Not a good season at all. You know, so she wants to win that championship, no doubt about it.
So let's talk about telling her story on in the future on network television. Tony Stewart was on with us, EPARTRADE. People can go back and find that interview. And he said, when I prompted him, what are you excited about the future? What does NHRA need to do to level up? And he says that this next television contract negotiation is really important and it is big. And I felt like, we all know how great the personalities in drag racing are, but you can only get so many people to the track each year. You got to touch more through television. So what can you share? How important is it? This next NHRA on Fox is and has been, I think, the greatest television partnership the sport has had. But I would love to hear you expand on what this negotiation means, when it starts, and how outside of the box are you guys thinking, having seen NASCAR and IndyCar and what they accomplished in a similar situation?
Yeah. So That subject is obviously Fox Sports is a great partner of ours. We have a very good partnership with Fox Sports in that they know what we do. A lot of people don't know that we produce the show wholly internally in-house, and then we upload it to Fox Sports. They're very appreciative of that and love what we're doing. We have a unique partnership in that when there are open slots and things like that, they'll actually give us those hours and things to say, hey, they know we're ready to go live from Friday morning to Sunday night. And if they happen to have something that needs to move or something like that, then we actually come in there and, hey, will you guys go live right now? And we're capable of doing that, our team and our trucks and things like that. So so great partners in Fox Sports. Middle of next year, in the summer of next year, we go into our new partners. Okay, we have a exclusive negotiating period with Fox Sports, and then once that hopefully we come to an agreement with them. They're phenomenal partners. But if that doesn't happen, then we take it out to market. But I'm bullish on them. They are very good partners. Love working with them. I can't say that enough. And we've had a good ride with them, no doubt about it. This will be 10 years that we'll have been with them when we end this one, and hopefully it goes on for the next 10 as well. So great things, looking really forward to it, and we're bullish on the outcome of those TV negotiations as well. Fox Sports just signed IndyCar. A lot of people know they already have NASCAR. They just signed IndyCar, and then they with us, IndyCar and NASCAR, they'd be a motorsports powerhouse, obviously. So that'd be great. Their demographic lines up with our demographic as well. So a good thing there.
In the past, you and I know you got to go. I'm watching the clock. We've discussed. I think that the Drive to Survive style program, maybe is the last big idea, right? And maybe we don't want to chase the last big idea, or maybe we do again, some way, somehow. NHRA has NHRA TV and a huge social media presence that is constantly updated, and really one of the best social media teams out there. But talk a little bit about elevating what's happening in the pits. Are there any plans, any ideas, any concepts? You had mentioned last year on EPARTRADE when we spoke that was on your radar. Is it still something that maybe shows drivers when they're not at the track or in the car?
Yeah. So that's everybody would love to emulate that Drive to Survive series. People know what it did for F1, and anybody, there's been a lot of people that have tried. It's very hard to create that and actually create a successful program. What we are doing is, yes, we will be creating a docu-series that is slated to come out during our 75th anniversary in 2026. That'll be very interesting. We have that already locked down, so that's great. We haven't made an announcement on it, so here we are at EPARTRADE making that announcement, but I haven't delved too far into it. We will be doing that though, and then on top of that, we've been doing a lot of stuff in pit. When you talk about in pit, it's not necessarily behind the scenes and get inside the trailers and stuff like that. What we try to do is we did a lot of in pit cameras this year, so people could understand what's going on with how close the fans can get to these teams, and what kind of opportunities the teams can provide their sponsors and potential sponsors in terms of going inside, what we call inside the pit, but it's sort of like inside the locker room, let's call it, and get it right up there, up close and personal. So we've been doing a lot of that. In terms of just creating more awareness and doing some behind the scenes stuff. The awareness part that we are doing right now is the fast channel stuff right now. And a lot of people don't talk about fast channels. It's what AVOD, but most people call them fast channels now because it's free ad supported TV. So why it's called fast channels. And this year, we've had already over 7 million hours viewed on our fast channels. Those fast channels are on Samsung TV Plus, Roku, just a ton, Hulu, just a ton of different apps. You could go on there and just search NHRA on your smart TV, and the icon will come up and you can click it and it's on. Okay. So that's good. But yes, we will be doing a docu-series there, and we're working on multiple docu-series as well. So.
That's exciting. Those fast channels, you mentioned it. I have been surprised at how many millions of viewers the cord cutters are enjoying that content. I will admit, I kind of, I don't want to say dismissed it because I would never do that, but I was just shocked by the numbers and NHRA having its own channels, Tubi and others, and live content from the track. Aren't we doing live content from the pit area on those channels that's exclusive to that?
Yeah, NHRA.TV. I mean, you could watch NHRA.TV 100% live. So what we have is we have our in venue, it's called Sudoku Vision last year, but that in venue broadcast, what we're doing in venue, that is all live content, is actually directly streamed right to NHRA.TV. We partnered with Endeavor on that 2 years ago, and the services, it's working really well. And it's very, very stable. Okay. When we first launched it, it wasn't as stable as it is now, that's for sure. But it is very stable, and it's growing right now as well. So a lot of good, positive things going on. We always have our things, just like every sport. Okay. We always have our things that we have to deal with here and there. And that won't stop. Okay. But we will, I feel very, very bullish, not only in the NHRA, but what we are doing and the leadership that we have within the NHRA with Glenn Cromwell, Peter Clifford, and the leadership team. They all work really hard. I know we work really hard. I'm a part of that. And I'm very bullish on what we're doing day in and day out. And along with people like yourself, Joe. I mean, we see that, you get to the track at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, you're not leaving till 8 or 9 o'clock at night a lot of times, maybe later than that a lot of times. So those are long days, but it takes dedicated people like yourself and the team that we have there. So, I mean, if we just think, and the racers,
talking.
I mean,
you can keep going.
I can go on and on and on, I mean, we have such.
All right, you got 5 minutes, then you got a meeting, and we appreciate you, Brad, for
I
sticking
have
around. Erica was at the track. We appreciate
Pacific
you.
Coast. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm on the Pacific
no,
Coast.
we get it. So
I do have a noon meeting that I got to get prepared for, actually, but I have a couple more minutes here. But
final thought. Okay, so the whole game for drag racing, and on EPARTRADE, we've got road course racing, we've got boats, we've got formula style cars, and everybody has their motorsport that they are most passionate about. I want you to talk directly to the people that are not our core, that are open to coming out to a drag strip this coming year. And why should they come out and experience NHRA drag racing as like maybe their secondary motorsport, as something that they would be impressed by, even though they love sports cars, though they love sprint cars?
Yeah, I will guarantee that they will be, it'll be something that they have never seen before in their life. It's very hard to articulate or explain to someone and they understand what it's like. I've been to multiple ovals, multiple road courses, all types of sports. There is nothing like NHRA Championship Drag Racing, and going to the track and the access that you get and the feeling and the smells. I mean, when people start up those nitro cars and you smell the nitro, we call it, baptism by nitro. Okay, there's a lot of great things there, and I'll tell you what, people come out and they want to come out and see our sport. See me personally, walk out there and say, hey, Brad, I heard you on EPARTRADE. Tell me why this is great. Walk me around, show me some of the cool stuff. I'll be glad to do that. Okay. If I have time, but I'll be glad to do that. I do that all day long when I'm at the track as well. So Joe, you see me walking around like that.
You got 1 minute remaining. What has Tony Stewart's presence meant to NHRA drag racing?
He's just a cool guy. He's a cool guy, and not only cool guy, but just his passion for drag racing. He really articulates why it is different. It's a family sport. There's multiple generations going out there. When you go out there, people are barbecuing, people are enjoying themselves. It's obviously people are very competitive. I mean, in Tony's class, Top Fuel, we had 41 different drivers this year. People don't realize that. They think, we had 41 different drivers in Top Fuel this year. And Tony is just not only a super, obviously a great driver, one of the best all time, but just a great person and a great ambassador for drag racing. Can't say enough to what he has done with us and for us. And, that's what we work very closely together, and just a super, super guy, so and along with their new Dominic, their new son. Okay. Leah and Tony's new son. So that's awesome. Congratulations to them. I could see Dominic here in about 5 years going down the track as a junior drag racer like his mom did. And that'll be really cool when that happens. Look forward to that.
Brad, thank you so much. Thanks for making a little extra time. We'll let you go, of course, but excellent job as usual. Always excited to have you on and talk a little NHRA drag racing.
All right.
Thank you,
Joe.
Brad.
Thank you, Francisco. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right, cheers. Oh.
Thank you very much.
EPARTRADE is a digital platform that we've created basically to make life easier in the business community of auto racing.
EPARTRADE, there is no e-commerce. It's literally a connection just like at a trade show. So now, any time of the year, a buyer could reach out to a supplier.
When you see a product that you're interested in, all you need to do is click on request more information, and then from there it is forwarded directly to the buyer or to the supplier.
EPARTRADE really eliminates having to travel, closing down your shop. Now you have a place to showcase globally your racing product and technology.
Looking for a quick fix of motorsports news? The Speed Sport Daily is what you need. It's a free racing newsletter delivered directly to your email every day. We'll cover the winners and the losers and tell you who's making news off the track. It's NASCAR, NHRA, World of Outlaw, IndyCar, and so much more. Go to speedsport.com today and get signed up for America's free racing newsletter and get your daily motorsports fix. The Speed Sport Daily.
Land speed record holder George Poteet's Speed Demon rocketed 481 miles per hour at the Bonneville Salt Flats. You don't go that fast without ARP fasteners.
There is no way that we could go the speed that we've gone, the number of times we've gone, with a lesser quality bolt than ARP supplies to us. And we absolutely wouldn't be where we were today if it weren't for ARP.
When failure is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com.
We're Performance Plus Global Logistics. Our team of dedicated performance industry and logistics experts get valuable cars and components to the track on time in top condition. We provide expedited logistics solutions for the performance industry using direct routes instead of deferred options, and communicate all necessary information to the appropriate resources to meet regulations and ensure a smooth transit and secure delivery, both domestically and internationally. And we exceed customer expectations by providing best-in-class service with an efficient and cost-effective system in place. Contact us today to book your next shipment.
Scott Lewis & Associates, the sales, marketing, and branding specialist for the automotive performance industry since 1988. We get our manufacturers on track by opening an extensive distribution network, providing product training to sales staff, creating fully integrated sales and marketing strategies, building successful industry partnerships, attending trade shows, events, and races, offering first-class support to customers. SLAI delivers solutions that win you sales. To get in touch with an SLAI representative, call 516-378-6100. Go to scottlewisinc.com or email info@scottlewisinc.com.
With roots in the Midwest that date back well before the Model T, Fifth Third Bank has a long history of serving the needs of automotive companies. While much has changed over the years, our passion for helping businesses put cars on the road and on the track has not. Today, we are more committed than ever as a member of SEMA, a founding member of PRI, and a sponsor of multiple race teams across several racing series.
For over a decade, Fifth Third Bank has been a staunch supporter of our industry and a great partner for many companies in the motorsports field.
Our business has been growing extremely fast, and really we could not be where we are today without Fifth Third. They provided amazing strategic advice, the capital we need to support our phases of growth.
They are true partners for me now, and what they do with their involvement in motorsports is untouched in this community.
Where can we take your business? Fifth Third Bank.
You work as hard as your truck, and you have no time for downtime. That's why more truck owners trust Blue Def, America's #1 diesel exhaust fluid brand. Each batch is guaranteed pure, so you can avoid costly repairs caused by inferior DEF. Demand America's best for your truck. Blue Def and Blue Def Platinum. Put trust in your truck.
When it comes to pushing the limits of performance, the pros know there's no room for compromise. At Crowder Cams, we don't just engineer camshafts and valve train components, we redefine what power means. Since 1955, Crowder Cams has been the name trusted by racers, engine builders, and gearheads around the globe. Whether you're building a street machine, a dragster, or a track car, Crowder Cams provides the muscle you need to dominate. And with Crowder, victory is within your reach.
For over 25 years, Wisconsin-based C-Tech Manufacturing has been engineering and manufacturing the toughest, most accessible aluminum tool drawers, cabinets, carts, and tactical storage solutions for America's hardest working professionals. Whatever you need to store and however you need to store it, put your trust in C-Tech Manufacturing. We build it better. Visit our new website at ctechmanufacturing.com or give us a call at 715-355-8842.
If you're watching this video, you might be wondering, what is WPC? WPC is a surface treatment designed to reduce friction and increase the strength of metal parts. As much as it might seem like a coating, WPC is actually a surface treatment. Think of it like shot painting, but the media is much finer, like talc. So what you're left with is a super hard, smooth surface that actually has some proprietary dry lubricants embedded within it. For more information, visit WPCtreatment.com.